Jeff Seid. Seid. I think it's Seid, because it sounds like seedy, and it rhymes with biatch. Now, the reason I'm doing this one is twofold. Number one, his name is Jeff, and I want to see how long I can go only analyzing people whose name is Jeff. Second, he is a very good juxtaposition. He's good to compare with Jeff Nippard, who I did first. Now, Jeff is a shining example of righteousness about what the fitness industry should be. Jeff Seid, on the other hand, is a piece of dung. He's a piece of garbage. And we'll get into that today, why you shouldn't trust his opinion, and why he gives people in the fitness industry a bad name. Especially if they have the same name. Now, a little background on his channel, he has 1.22 million subscribers. Yes, 1.22 million subscribers. However, he only uploads once every few months. This is amazing. He could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars from social media, and yet he apparently just doesn't care at all. Now, I did notice that on the website socialblade.com, you can check someone's followers over time, and in a few instances, his follower count suddenly dropped, which is usually fake followers. So I'm guessing he bought followers at some point, and those accounts were deleted all of a sudden. So, if that's the case, and I'm sure it is, that is almost never a good sign. Now, let's get into his content. Now, most of his content seems to fall into three main categories. Number one is training videos. So most of these aren't really particularly informational, where Jeff Nippard gives a lot of science, he gives a lot of instruction, tips, a lot of beneficial information for you. Jeff Seid mostly has techno music and not much else. So occasionally he will give a tip. Sometimes they are correct, sometimes they are not correct. Generally these are not based in reality or science, they are simply based in his feeling or in anecdotes. The second type of video is going to be him doing dumb stuff in public. So this is going to be him flirting with girls, him just going shirtless in public, basically him just trying to gather attention and to get followers that way. And I'll hand it to him, it's been remarkably effective. He has millions of followers on Instagram, on YouTube, but from a viewer perspective, I don't think this is really beneficial content. You probably won't learn anything from his channel besides how to be a douchebag. And if that's what you're going for, then it's a fantastic channel. But generally, I don't rate that particularly highly. A third type of video are going to be him doing video chats with girls, and then him taking off his shirt and getting their reaction. So some of these videos have millions of views on his channel, and honestly, this is kind of pathetic. I think the one benefit from this is that you might be able to get some motivation for this, but it's a very shallow motivation. And in my experience, this type of motivation doesn't really last very long, and it's not particularly useful. You should train because you love to train, because you enjoy training, because you see the results and you like it, not because other people see the results and they like it. These videos are often edited in a way that make him appear like a god or like a demigod. In reality, if someone did this in public, most of the people would be giving him disgusted looks, but he's just cutting all of that out, and you're only seeing the people who find it attractive, which is not really a lot of people actually. So overall, I'm going to give his content a 20 out of 60. So obviously this is very low. You can argue about it with me if you want, but I don't care. Honestly, the best content in his videos are the comment section. Honestly, stuff like, not one squat was done that day. So much narcissism in one video. If you have to call yourself a legend, you are not a legend. My mom walked in when I was watching this, and I switched to gay porn because it was easier to explain. He's like a Bieber on roids. Yep. Now, you might think if his content is garbage, his editing and videos must be excellent, right? Not so much. A lot of the content, you can't really hear him. The music is too loud, or the music is not very high quality. It's just really not very good content or good editing. I know my editing is not excellent by any means, but considering he has 1 million subscribers, it really should be at a higher level. So I'm going to give him a 4 for editing and for video content. For personal knowledge and experience, he really has very little experience. He has a lot of personal experience, but you have to realize that his genetics are amazing. He has like 1 in 100,000 genetics, or maybe even 1 in 1 million genetics. He has very broad shoulders, he has very even abs, he's naturally very lean, he has a naturally very small waist, and he naturally builds muscle very easily. Even when he was like 12 or 13 years old, he had visible abs, visible muscles. So you have to realize that people like this, their perspective is totally different than most people when it comes to training, when it comes to muscle. So he never really had to learn about science because muscle just grew. You know, he picked up a barbell and just got results and kept getting results, and that probably doesn't apply to you or most people. So he never has, he doesn't have any certifications, to the best of my knowledge, certainly no degrees, certainly nothing I've seen from his videos shows any kind of high level of knowledge. He does occasionally have some decent tips. I watched a few of his videos and he did have some decent ideas. But again, none of these were based in science. A lot of them are just pertaining to himself, not to everyone. So I would take whatever he says with, a chunk of salt, just because you really need to be aware of his perspective. Now, he is an IFBB pro. He's a professional physique athlete, or whatever. But honestly, I don't think he should have won that competition. Most people agree that it was just because he has a big social media following, which I think is kind of pathetic. And I think it's a big downfall of physique sports in general. For the most part, it's just a popularity contest. So personally, I put almost no stock in if someone is a professional at this. So on personal knowledge and experience, I would give him a 3. He has a lot of personal experience, but a lot of it won't really apply to most people that he coaches. So please don't let that be you. By the way, he charges $150. Yeah, it was reduced from $500, but it's still $150 for what's probably a cookie cutter, crappy training plan. For the record, that's far more than I charge. If you want to be coached by him, $2,500. Sound like a bargain? I mean, it's half price, right? Honestly, this is a huge part of what was wrong with the fitness industry. Those prices are insane. I'm a big believer in the free market. He can charge whatever he wants, but really, that is just ridiculous. Which brings us to marketing. So his marketing strategy seems to be just like, be a douche, go all out, curse every video. Cursing in videos, that is absolutely bullshit. Complete bullshit. I mean, why the fuck would you curse in a video? It's just really unclassy. Just low class, uncultured scum. So honestly, I'm gonna give him a 2 for marketing. It's so over the top, it's so unpalatable that he's lucky he doesn't get a 1 or a negative score, to be honest. Like one example, he says you should do a superset and it'll be more effective because of the stretch reflex. For the record, a stretch reflex is like when you squat down and then jump up. You get a stretch reflex from the bottom position. But he's saying like if you do a set of curls and then a set of extensions, you get a stretch reflex because you did curls first. I mean, you can't make this up. This is a guy charging thousands of dollars for coaching. It's just like, it's too much. And then he even has the gall to say on his website, don't listen to these brofessors who tell you otherwise. Now, I'll still give credit where credit is due. Occasionally he does come up with a good idea. For example, for triceps, he says the long head is what gives a lot of the appearance of mass, which is true. And he says that the triceps is 2/3 of the upper arm, which is also true. So occasionally he does come up with a good idea, probably copying someone else. But I still don't think this is really enough to cover up all the bad and dumb stuff that he says. And finally, his physique. I do think he has an excellent physique. He looks great. I don't think he's natural, or at least not fully natural. I think he was natural for a long time, and I think most of the videos that he has up, he is natural. But certainly I don't think he's been natural when he started to put on a lot of mass and he went above 200 pounds. I don't think he was natural then, but he still looked good, and I think he still has a good physique. So I'm going to give him a 9 for physique. Another point in his favor is that he actually does train hard. A lot of his sets he took to failure or to very close. Ah, mosquito. I failed to hit that mosquito, by the way. I went to failure. I think he does train hard. I admire that. I think it's a great thing, and I think he's not someone who just uses steroids and doesn't train hard. He does both. All of that adds up to a 38 out of 100 for Mr. Seid. You get what you deserve. Also, please change your name. That is all for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.